Continuing from the last chapter, Lin Dong not only managed to obtain 1,000,000 Nirvana pills, but also escaped from the clutches of a master at the first Nirvana stage. Lin Dong's consciousness once again delved deep within his body. There, hovering above his energy core, the ancient formation reappeared before his eyes. The ancient formation emitted a faint glow. Upon closer inspection, one could discern countless strands of light within the formation, constantly shifting and writhing. This ceaseless movement prevented the formation from taking on any fixed shape. Its appearance seemed to change entirely with every passing moment. As Lin Dong carefully observed this ancient formation, his eyes flickered with a deep sense of awe. The formation's complexity had reached a terrifying level. He found it hard to imagine how such a bizarre formation could exist in this world. Such a formation, even with innate talent, one couldn't replicate another like it after countless attempts. Came Little Mink's voice in Lin Dong's mind, indicating that it too was closely watching this mysterious formation. In the past, this formation was stored within the spirit containment lotus seat. That lotus seat concealed most of the formation's functions. I suspect that the person who created this formation might have done so intentionally. That way, even if someone else obtained the lotus seat, they could only achieve the fusion of 2 powers at most. Hearing Little Mink's words, Lin Dong nodded slightly. If not for the coincidence of the spirit containment lotus seat being destroyed by Shi Xian and the formation conveniently entering his body, even he and Little Mink would not have discovered the true power of this ancient formation. What should we do next? Lin Dong asked. He had no clue how to suppress this ancient formation and could only seek guidance from Little Mink. All formations, no matter how complex, have a common trait. They all have a central core. Suppress the core, and you can suppress the entire formation. Little Mink's voice drifted steadily through his mind. The core. Lin Dong furrowed his brow, focusing his mind on the ancient formation. Its intricate nature gave him a headache, and finding the core within such a complex structure was no easy task. The so-called core is the focal point where the formation's energies converge. Given the complexity of this formation, if it were stationary, even I couldn't locate it. But right now, it's absorbing your primordial energy, so you can use that flow to pinpoint the core. Hearing this, Lin Dong's eyes brightened slightly. He nodded firmly, and with a thought, streams of primordial energy surged rapidly from his energy core and poured into the ancient formation. The formation welcomed this influx of energy, absorbing it without reservation. Meanwhile, Lin Dong's mind slowly sensed the flow of the energy within it. This was an exhausting task. The ancient formation's complexity was so overwhelming that even Little Mink was taken aback. As Lin Dong traced the path of the energy, he repeatedly failed, which was quite frustrating for him. However, frustration aside, this wasn't something that could be rushed. Lin Dong had no choice but to calm himself and repeatedly feel the energy flow. Finally, his consciousness quietly penetrated the intricate formation. This exploration seemed to last indefinitely. Even with Lin Dong's considerable spiritual energy, this task was draining. It was evident that if someone else were in his place, they might have already exhausted themselves completely. Within Lin Dong's body, there was a profound silence. After a long period, a faint humming sound suddenly emanated from the ancient formation. The instant this sound appeared, Lin Dong's consciousness snapped back to clarity. A surge of ecstatic joy welled up from deep within him as his gaze locked onto a specific spot in the ancient formation. There, he had finally sensed the focal point where the energy converged. Little Mink, who had been closely monitoring the situation, breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing this. It seemed Lin Dong had found the core. Although it had taken a considerable amount of time, it was still a decent result. Let's see what you can do now. Lin Dong suppressed his exhilaration, looking at the ancient formation with a smile. With a thought, a rune resembling a black hole, constantly writhing, appeared above the formation. Waves of devouring power radiated outward. It was the devouring ancestral talisman. As the devouring ancestral talisman manifested, The ancient formation below seemed to sense a threat significant enough to endanger it. The light it emitted grew considerably stronger. This unexpected change in the formation surprised Lin Dong. He couldn't help but exclaim. This was merely a formation, yet it seemed to possess an awareness akin to that of a living being. Suppressing his astonishment, Lin Dong steadied his mind. The devouring ancestral talisman, under his control, transformed into a beam of black light, mingling with his consciousness, and charged directly into the ancient formation. As the devouring ancestral talisman forcefully penetrated the formation, a peculiar humming sound erupted from it. Immediately following this, a powerful suction force was unleashed. Under this pull, even Lin Dong's consciousness was forcibly drawn into the formation. In the instant he was pulled in, Lin Dong's mind blurred momentarily. However, he quickly regained his senses, only to find a brilliant light flooding his vision. As he glanced around, he was shocked to discover that he was in an unfamiliar place. Surrounding him were countless intertwining beams of light. At his feet, a luminous expanse spread out, faintly outlining patterns that resembled the veins of heaven and earth. This is within the formation. Lin Dong stared in awe at the scene before him. He had been drawn inside the formation itself. Above him, the devouring ancestral talisman hovered quietly, emanating waves of devouring power that shielded Lin Dong. Lin Dong's gaze shifted forward, where a circular mass of light floated. An ancient and cryptic aura seemed to emanate faintly from it. Vaguely, ancient characters appeared on the surface of the light mass. Ancient cosmic formation. Lin Dong squinted, trying to discern the ancient script, and eventually murmured to himself, "So that's the name of the formation. Quite an audacious name, daring to use cosmic as its title. Lin Dong, where you are now is the formation's core. If you can suppress that light mass, you will be able to control the formation." Little Mink's voice came from outside the formation. Lin Dong nodded, deciding not to waste words. Taking a deep breath, his expression grew serious. With a wave of his hand, the devouring ancestral talisman shot forward, transforming into a black hole that hovered above the light mass. Waves of powerful devouring force immediately swept forth. Sensing the devouring ancestral talisman's intent, the light mass began to tremble. Beams of light shot out, counteracting the devouring force of the talisman and pushing it back. What a powerful formation! Lin Dong's eyes narrowed slightly upon witnessing this scene. Although he couldn't fully wield the devouring ancestral talisman with his current strength, the formation, which lacked an owner, was still able to resist its power. This ancient formation was indeed extraordinary. But no matter how strong you are, you're still an ownerless object, and this is my body. I'll not allow you to run rampant here. Lin Dong's eyes sharpened. He had to suppress this formation. Otherwise, it would continue absorbing his primordial energy. If the formation grew stronger, it might eventually overpower him, turning the tables and causing him great harm. Under Lin Dong's control, the black hole formed by the devouring ancestral talisman expanded even further, its immense devouring power continuously eroding the light mass. However, faced with the onslaught of the devouring ancestral talisman, the light mass also put up a fierce resistance, significantly slowing down the rate of erosion. Observing the stalemate, Lin Dong snorted coldly. With a thought, a streak of white light suddenly shot out from within his body, diving directly into the ancient cosmic formation and transforming into a stone talisman that appeared before Lin Dong. Go! As soon as the mysterious stone talisman appeared, it moved under Lin Dong's command to position itself beneath the light mass. Soft white light radiated outward, forming a strange black and white barrier with the devouring power of the devouring ancestral talisman. What surprised Lin Dong the most was that the devouring power, reputed to consume all, became unusually gentle upon contact with the white light from the stone talisman. Under this barrier, the light mass, which had been fiercely resisting, finally showed signs of fatigue. Clearly, Even the ancient cosmic formation had to relent in the face of these two mighty artifacts. The black and white barrier enveloped the light mass, one above and one below, with the two powerful artifacts suppressing the ancient cosmic formation to the point where it could not move at all. The trembling of the light mass finally ceased at this moment. Seeing this, a smile appeared on Lin Dong's face. He knew that, with the power of the devouring ancestral talisman and the mysterious stone talisman, he had successfully subdued the enigmatic ancient cosmic formation. From now on, this formation would be under his control. Although he had lost the spirit containment lotus seed in this process, Lin Dong had gained a far more powerful and mysterious ancient cosmic formation. It was a classic case of a blessing in disguise. Sure, Xian, this time, I actually have to thank you. In the secret key space, Lin Dong's tightly closed eyes slowly opened, and a cold smile curled at the corners of his mouth as he muttered to himself. In the secret key space, little Mink, noticing Lin Dong's open eyes, also showed a flash of joy and quickly asked, "Did you succeed?" "Yes." Lin Dong nodded with a smile, feeling immensely satisfied. Initially, he thought that the destruction of the spirit containment lotus seed meant losing a powerful weapon. However, he didn't expect to receive such a fortunate compensation instead. As he spoke, Lin Dong extended his palm. With a thought, light converged in his palm, and a miniature of the ancient cosmic formation faintly appeared. At its center, primordial energy, spiritual energy, and devouring power were rapidly converging. After passing through the formation, they fused into a palm-sized, dark gray energy sphere. The energy sphere hovered quietly above Lin Dong's palm. Although it emitted no violent fluctuations, Lin Dong could sense a faint but unmistakable aura of danger. This new energy, formed by the fusion of three different energies, clearly possessed extreme destructive power. Tisk, you got some luck, kid. Even in my prime, methods to fuse energies were quite tricky. Yet here you are, not even at the Nirvana stage, already capable of doing so. Little Mink remarked, eyes flickering with a hint of envy as he gazed at the dark gray energy sphere. This is indeed impressive, but unfortunately, creating this new energy is highly consuming. With my current strength, I can't use it excessively. Lin Dong nodded and then sighed with a bit of regret. Don't be ungrateful. This kind of energy fusion isn't just about mixing things together. Without the ancient cosmic formation, you wouldn't be able to fuse primordial energy and spiritual energy, let alone three types. Little Mink rolled his eyes at Lin Dong. Lin Dong chuckled. With a flip of his hand, the dark gray energy sphere and the formation's miniature vanished. Stretching lazily, he asked, "How long have we been in here?" "About 2 days. What are your plans now?" Little Mink replied, "We've been in the ancient battlefield for almost half a year. In another half year, the great battle will commence. Right now, all the dynasties in the ancient battlefield are desperately seeking treasures and legacies to strengthen themselves. We can't afford to lag behind," Lin Dong said with a grin as he stood up. "From the memories I extracted from the spiritual imprint that tried to seize my body, in about a month, it will be the perfect time to unlock the ancient hidden treasure. I suspect that those who possess the other 3 ancient keys will also show up at that location. This ancient hidden treasure certainly isn't something left by an ordinary sect. The forces drawn to it will be far more formidable than those from Thunder Rock Valley. Gaining anything from it will undoubtedly be challenging. No matter who tries to stop Lord Mink from obtaining the life and death reversal pill, I'll beat them until they're picking their teeth up off the ground." Little Mink chuckled mischievously, then looked at Lin Dong and said, "Once Lord Mink regains his physical form, I'll help you slaughter anyone you don't like." Lin Dong rolled his eyes. He knew that even if Little Mink restored his body, his strength wouldn't immediately return to its peak. Moreover, the ancient battlefield was no backwater like the Great Yin Dynasty. Here, super sects from the Eastern Xin region were watching. Those forces would never allow Little Mink to wreak havoc, so he chose to ignore this statement. "By the way, you now have plenty of Nirvana pills. With some more cultivation, you should be able to attempt breaking through to the Nirvana stage, Little Mink suggested, though it was more of a casual remark. Hearing this, Lin Dong merely smiled and said, "It's only a bit over 1,000,000 Nirvana pills. My goal isn't just reaching the Nirvana stage." Little Mink was taken aback, then exclaimed in surprise, "Are you planning to go through the Nirvana tribulation in one go?" "I'm quite interested in the Nirvana tribulation," Lin Dong said with a smile, his eyes ablaze with genuine excitement. This left Little Mink momentarily speechless. While most Nirvana stage practitioners viewed the Nirvana tribulation as a terrifying ordeal, Lin Dong seemed eager to face it. But Little Mink understood that Lin Dong had the qualifications for such confidence. His physical body was exceptionally robust, and even though he hadn't yet stepped into the Nirvana stage, the small Nirvana golden body he cultivated already granted him a physique comparable to a Nirvana stage expert. As long as his foundation was solid enough, it wasn't impossible for him to simultaneously break through to the Nirvana stage and face the Nirvana tribulation. If you intend to delay your breakthrough to the Nirvana stage a bit longer, you'll need to find other ways to enhance your strength. The demonic rock dynasty now hates you to the core. Xian alone is enough trouble. Not to mention he has an elder brother who hasn't yet shown up, the true leader of the demonic rock dynasty. They will undoubtedly head for the ancient hidden treasure as well. If you only have your current strength, dealing with them could be a real headache, Little Mink remarked, casting a glance at Lin Dong. Hearing this, Lin Dong furrowed his brows. He was well aware of the strength of the demonic rock dynasty and felt quite apprehensive. While he could escape using the ancient key, it wouldn't be an option inside the ancient hidden treasure. If he kept running, he would have no chance at the treasures within. And clearly, Lin Dong would not allow such a scenario. "There are two things you currently have that can rapidly increase your strength," Little Mink continued, sensing Lin Dong's concern. "Oh." Lin Dong raised an eyebrow and looked at Little Mink. "First is the blood spirit puppet. In its prime, it was likely far more powerful than it is now. With the Nirvana pills you have, you should be able to restore it to the level of a first-grade spirit puppet in a short period. That level is comparable to a practitioner at the first Nirvana stage and should be enough to handle Xian." Lin Dong nodded slightly, letting out a sigh of relief. He had almost forgotten about the blood spirit puppet. It indeed had great potential and could reach the level of a first-grade spirit puppet in a short time. "And the second?" Lin Dong asked again. Besides Xian, the demonic rock dynasty had another, more formidable leader who hadn't yet appeared. "That?" Little Mink chuckled, pointing at Little Yin, who was sprawled on the ground. "Don't forget about this silly tiger. It has been eating quite well while following you around. Although it's just an ordinary flame python tiger, it has a very rare, mutated bloodline. If it manages to break through to the Nirvana stage, its strength shouldn't be underestimated." "Little Yin?" Lin Dong was momentarily stunned, then reached out to pat the large head of the tiger, smiling. "If getting this guy to the Nirvana stage costs all my Nirvana pills, it's worth it." His demeanor showed no sign of regret over the Nirvana pills he had risked his life to obtain. Since their early days in Qingyang Town, Little Yin had been with him through thick and thin. In Lin Dong's eyes, it was far more than just a pet. It was an irreplaceable companion. Sensing the tenderness in Lin Dong's eyes, Little Yin let out a low growl, nudging Lin Dong with its big head affectionately. Seeing the bond between the two, Little Mink's eyes narrowed slightly. Then he chuckled softly. "But don't be foolish and use Nirvana pills to force this stupid tiger into the Nirvana stage. Otherwise, it won't become as cunning as Lord Mink." Lin Dong blinked, then understood what Little Mink meant by becoming like it, gaining intelligence that surpassed even humans. In some sense, breaking through to the Nirvana stage is crucial for both humans and beasts. For some powerful, pure-blooded beasts, reaching the Nirvana stage can mean developing true intelligence and even transforming out of their beast forms. For those with mediocre bloodlines, their intelligence may grow, but they remain beasts at heart. Little Yin has consumed so many bloodlines. It should be considered quite good, right? Lin Dong hesitated. "Do you think bloodlines are so easy to change?" Little Mink responded coolly. The bloodlines it's consumed, including the sky crocodiles, only strengthened its body. They didn't fundamentally alter its bloodline because those are two different species. If it wants to completely change its bloodline, it must devour a pure tiger bloodline. A pure tiger bloodline? Lin Dong muttered. From what I know, there are 3 tiger bloodlines that are the purest. The abyssal tiger, the earth-shaking thunder tiger, and the celestial demon tiger. Abyssal tiger, earth-shaking thunder tiger, celestial demon tiger. Lin Dong repeated, stroking little Yan's large head. These 3 clans are quite famous even in the demon realm. It's said that above these 3 tiger clans, there's a legendary existence known as the Dark Sacred Tiger, which appeared in the primordial era but hasn't been heard of much since. Little Mink smiled. If you could find one of these 3 tiger bloodlines, you could completely cleanse this silly tiger of its mediocrity and grant it a truly pure bloodline. Its future potential would be limitless. Lin Dong gave a wry smile and said, "It seems like this task won't be easy. But for little Yan's future, I'll do my best." Little Mink nodded and spread its paws, saying, "Whether or not we can find it depends on this dumb tiger's luck. For now, let's focus on enhancing the blood spirit puppet strength. With a first-grade spirit puppet by your side, it can shield you from quite a bit of trouble." Hearing this, Lin Dong nodded as well. With a wave of his hand, he summoned the blood spirit puppet. Over the next 2 days, Lin Dong remained within the secret key space. During this time, he took out a total of 200,000 Nirvana pills. With such an abundant supply of Nirvana pills, it was no surprise that the blood spirit puppet's strength soared again, reaching the level of a first-grade spirit puppet. In other words, this blood spirit puppet was now as powerful as a practitioner at the first Nirvana stage, capable of contending with Shixian. After completing these preparations, Lin Dong finally felt reassured. With little Yin by his side, he once again stepped out of the secret key space. On a vast plain far from demonic Rock City, the space suddenly began to warp slightly. Then, a young figure mysteriously appeared. That figure, of course, was Lin Dong, who had emerged from the ancient secret key space. As he landed, a surge of powerful primordial energy rippled through his body. Only after confirming that there were no disturbances in the surroundings did he heave a sigh of relief, allowing his tense body to relax gradually. "This ancient secret key is quite handy for escaping," Little Mink remarked, appearing on Lin Dong's shoulder. It gazed at the empty plain and chuckled. Lin Dong also smiled, then cast his gaze into the distance. "Next, let's head straight for the ancient land. I believe that since I know about the optimal time to unlock the ancient hidden treasure in a month, the other high-ranking dynasties must know as well. They're likely already on their way to that location. We should get there early and familiarize ourselves with the terrain." Little Mink nodded in agreement. The ancient hidden treasure was no small matter. Almost every dynasty with some power in the northwestern region would be eyeing it, eager to claim a share of the spoils. The competition would undoubtedly be fierce, far more so than the battle at Thunder Rock Valley. Even a powerful dynasty like the Demonic Rock Dynasty wouldn't dare to act too arrogantly in such a scenario. Although they were a force to be reckoned with in the northwestern region, they were far from being the dominant power. This vast region was also home to dynasties that even they were wary of and even feared. These truly powerful dynasties would also participate in the battle for the ancient hidden treasure, a clear indication of just how significant the treasure was and how intense the upcoming conflict would be. Anyone who stands out in this treasure hunt will be considered top tier or even elite across the entire ancient battlefield. "It's quite the opportunity," Lin Dong said with a smile, his eyes showing not a hint of retreat, but rather a burning intensity. Although he hailed from the lowly Great Yin dynasty, his actions were far from humble. Whether facing the initial Holy Light dynasty or the now more formidable Demonic Rock dynasty, he remained unafraid. He understood that to become a true powerhouse, such trials were essential. "Let's go!" Without further delay, Lin Dong waved his hand, and little Yin shot out from his sleeve. In a swift motion, it transformed into its battle form, spread its broad wings, and soared into the sky. Lin Dong's figure flickered, and he landed on the tiger's back, sitting cross-legged. Little Yin let out a low roar. Its massive body then transformed into a streak of red lightning, streaking towards the distant horizon. In the blink of an eye, it vanished beyond the edge of the sky. The ancient battlefield was vast. The northwestern region alone, where Lin Dong was already far larger than the Great Yin dynasty. The ancient land was located deep within this region, so even at Little Yan's current speed, it would take at least 5 days to reach their destination. During these 5 days, Lin Dong continued his solitary journey. Traveling alone, especially through the night, he frequently encountered waves of demonic beast attacks. Along the way, he faced numerous such assaults. However, what might be a disaster in the eyes of others, the demonic beast hordes, was for Lin Dong an opportunity to collect countless demon crystals rich in Nirvana Chi. Moreover, with the protective membrane formed by the devouring ancestral talisman, the dark suppression of the ancient battlefield's knights posed no threat to Lin Dong at all. Thus, whenever he saw a demonic horde approaching, instead of fleeing, Lin Dong would charge forward with a look of fervent excitement. What followed was a relentless, tireless slaughter. At times, he fought with such intensity that even the bloodthirsty beasts couldn't withstand his fervor and fled in terror. In just 5 days, Lin Dong faced nearly 7 waves of demonic hordes. The number of beasts that perished at his and Little Yan's hands was countless, and the demon crystals they harvested filled an entire cosmic bag. The value of these crystals was equivalent to nearly 100,000 Nirvana pills, a truly bountiful haul. Of course, besides battling the demonic hordes, whenever Lin Dong encountered a city, he would venture inside to gather information about the 3 pure tiger bloodlines that Little Mink had mentioned. Unfortunately, after several days, he found nothing of particular value. However, while he didn't gain much information about the 3 pure tiger bloodlines, Lin Dong did notice that every time he appeared, there seemed to be some strange glances from hidden places. This left him feeling somewhat puzzled. This confusion was soon resolved. After a group of a dozen or so half-step Nirvana Stage experts attempted to ambush him and failed, Lin Dong easily extracted the information that cleared up his doubts. "Am I wanted again?" Lin Dong muttered softly, casually swatting away a terrified half-step Nirvana Stage practitioner before him with a slap. The demonic rock dynasty certainly doesn't hold back. On top of the million Nirvana pills I extorted from them, they've added another 50,000. No wonder these guys are coming after me like they're desperate. Lin Dong stretched lazily, a glint of cold light flashing in his narrowed eyes. Sure, Xian really is a persistent nuisance. Forget it. We'll reach the ancient land tomorrow. I suppose we'll encounter the demonic rock dynasty in the ancient hidden treasure. We'll settle all scores then and there. Suppressing the rising killing intent in his heart, Lin Dong cast a cold glance at the would-be ambushers nearby. After battling demonic hordes continuously, his gaze had become as sharp and chilling as a blade, making those people shudder and retreat in panic. Let's go. The ancient land is the most complex and ancient place in the northwestern region. Perhaps there we can find some information about those 3 pure tiger bloodlines, Lin Dong said as he waved his hand. Without lingering further, he leapt onto Little Yan's back, and the duo set off again. Around dusk the following day, Lin Dong, who was sitting cross-legged on Little Yan's back, suddenly opened his eyes and gazed far ahead. Within his line of sight, the lush mountain range finally came to an end. Before him lay an expansive and ancient land. Although the ancient battlefield itself was already quite ancient, this particular region exuded an even more potent aura of antiquity. In the skies above the ancient land, streaks of light frequently shot by. Clearly, various dynasties from all directions were rushing toward this place. The continuous sound of wind being sliced through slightly alleviated the desolation of this vast land. Little Yin flapped its broad wings, flying over this ancient expanse. From high above, they could faintly see some very old ruins below. According to Lin Dong's knowledge, before the ancient battlefield fell into decline, this ancient land was considered one of its rare, flourishing areas. Many powerful sects had been established here, as evidenced by the remnants of ruins that still remained. Lin Dong guided Little Yin to land outside a rather majestic-looking city within the ancient land. These cities were built later and lacked the ancient aura, but they were quite large in scale. Moreover, with various dynasties being drawn to the ancient hidden treasure recently, the ancient land had suddenly become a very lively place. Having encountered some trouble during his journey over the past few days, Lin Dong had grown wiser and wore a conical hat to conceal his appearance before entering the city. After entering the city, Lin Dong didn't wander aimlessly. Instead, he headed straight for the intelligence trading hub. Such places were usually jointly established by dynasties with extensive networks. Here, as long as one had enough Nirvana pills, they could obtain most of the intelligence concerning the northwestern region. Familiar with the process of intelligence trading after his recent travels, Lin Dong entered the building, where he was immediately greeted by a smiling, scrawny man. "What kind of information does my friend need?" Everyone coming to the ancient land these days is after the ancient hidden treasure, right? I bet you're interested in the owners of those 4 ancient keys too, aren't you? 5,000 Nirvana pills. I can provide you with all the details. Lin Dong raised an eyebrow slightly and casually handed over 5,000 Nirvana pills, signaling the man to continue. Seeing Lin Dong's straightforwardness, the scrawny man's eyes brightened slightly. He quickly pocketed the Nirvana pills and then said with a grin, 3 of the 4 ancient keys are currently in the possession of 3 major dynasties: the Nether Spring Dynasty, the Primordial Wilderness Dynasty, and the Demonic Rock Dynasty. The Demonic Rock Dynasty? Lin Dong was momentarily taken aback. He hadn't expected that after his interference, the Demonic Rock Dynasty would still manage to obtain another ancient key. Their strength was indeed formidable. As for the 4th ancient key, it isn't held by any major dynasty, but by someone from a lower-ranking dynasty. However, don't underestimate him because of that. This guy, Lin Dong, isn't easy to deal with. Not only did he wipe out the experts the Demonic Rock Dynasty sent to hunt him down, but he also extorted 1,000,000 Nirvana pills from them. He even managed to escape unscathed after Shi Xian of the Demonic Rock Dynasty mobilized a significant force against him. His skills are nothing to scoff at. The scrawny man had a hint of pride on his face, confident that such detailed information could only be obtained through their network. Lin Dong's eyes narrowed slightly. The accuracy of this information was indeed surprising. "I came here to inquire about the whereabouts of 3 types of beasts," Lin Dong said with a faint smile, his eyes beneath the conical hat fixed on the scrawny man before him. "Oh, which ones?" the scrawny man asked casually with a smile. "The Abyssal Tiger, the Earth-Shaking Thunder Tiger, and the Celestial Demon Tiger." Upon hearing these names, the scrawny man was momentarily stunned. He then gave Lin Dong a meaningful look and said, "These beasts are not ordinary creatures. Generally speaking, they might only exist in the legendary demon realm." "None here?" Lin Dong frowned, his tone tinged with disappointment. Was it really impossible to help Little Yin alter its bloodline here in the ancient battlefield? If that were the case, the time needed for Little Yin to break through to the Nirvana stage could be significantly prolonged. Just as Lin Dong was about to leave in disappointment, the scrawny man rubbed his chin, hesitated for a moment, and then whispered, "There is a bit of information about this, but it won't come cheap." At that moment, a flicker of excitement flashed in Lin Dong's eyes under the brim of his hat. "As long as it's the information I need, I'll give you a fair price," Lin Dong replied, his bright gaze gradually calming. His voice wasn't overly eager, as he had dealt with these shrewd individuals before and knew they loved to inflate prices. "Heh." The scrawny man chuckled and said, "Let's be honest here, I won't lie to you. I do have some information on this, but it's not something that can be disclosed casually. It's quite troublesome." "Name your price," Lin Dong said flatly. 30,000 Nirvana pills. And don't say that's expensive. This matter is quite sensitive. If they find out I leaked the information, I might lose my life," the scrawny man said, licking his lips. Lin Dong's eyes under the hat narrowed slightly. After a brief silence, he tossed over a cosmic bag. "Here are 10,000 Nirvana pills. Finish telling me the information, and I'll decide the rest." The scrawny man quickly grabbed the bag and, after some hesitation, finally whispered, "1,000 miles north of here lies Beast Valley, home to many beasts, some of which are comparable to Nirvana Stage practitioners. It's said that the ruler of this valley is a beast comparable to a practitioner at the first Nirvana Stage, a mighty earth-cracking tiger." A beast at the first Nirvana Stage? Lin Dong's eyes narrowed slightly. Then he frowned. "I'm not looking for a mighty earth-cracking tiger. Are you deceiving me?" "But don't be hasty. Let me finish." The scrawny man chuckled slyly. "According to our information, in the lair of the mighty earth-cracking tiger, there's a celestial demon tiger bone. It was a fortunate find for the mighty earth-cracking tiger, which it intends to use during its second Nirvana tribulation." "A celestial demon tiger bone?" Lin Dong's eyes suddenly brightened, though his voice remained calm. "Dead one? Buddy, if you're looking for a living celestial demon tiger, you'd probably have to go to the legendary demon realm. At least, there's definitely none in the ancient battlefield," the scrawny man replied. "Lin Dong, even just the tiger bone will suffice. It must contain the bloodline power. The celestial demon tiger clan's strength is concentrated in their bones, which are their most formidable feature. Thus, this tiger bone is the essence of their power." Little Mink's voice echoed in Lin Dong's mind, sounding rather delighted. It seemed even Little Mink hadn't expected to find information about one of the 3 tiger clans in the ancient battlefield. Hearing Little Mink's words, Lin Dong finally breathed a slight sigh of relief and felt a bit of excitement. If this could help Little Yin break through to the Nirvana Stage, it would undoubtedly be a powerful asset for him. If you're interested in that celestial demon tiger bone, you should hurry. 2 advanced dynasties have already made plans to seize it. I obtained my information from them, which is why the price is as high as 20,000 Nirvana pills, the scrawny man advised with a smile. "Oh!" Lin Dong furrowed his brows and then pulled out another 11,000 Nirvana pills, saying, "This is for the information. With the extra amount, tell me everything you know about those 2 advanced dynasties." The scrawny man quickly pocketed the Nirvana pills, his grin growing wider. "The ones eyeing the celestial demon tiger bone are the Demon Tiger Dynasty and the Beast Dynasty. The former specializes in cultivation techniques and martial arts related to tigers. They aim to use the celestial demon tiger bone to train in a powerful martial art. As for the Beast Dynasty, they are a unique dynasty that specializes in controlling beasts to fight. Both are quite troublesome to deal with. Both advanced dynasties are each led by a first Nirvana Stage expert, and each also has a Nirvana Stage practitioner under their command, with many more half-step Nirvana practitioners. Seizing the celestial demon tiger bone from them won't be easy," the scrawny man added, clearly offering a warning. In his view, Lin Dong, mysterious as he might be, would be foolish to think he could single-handedly take on 2 advanced dynasties. 2 first Nirvana Stage experts, 2 Nirvana Stage practitioners. Under the brim of his hat, a hint of surprise flickered across Lin Dong's face. These 2 advanced dynasties were considerably stronger than the Great Wu dynasty he had encountered at Thunder Rock Valley. Clearly, there was a significant disparity in strength among the advanced dynasties. "Thank you." With the information in hand, Lin Dong did not linger any longer. He cupped his fists toward the scrawny man and then turned to leave, leaving the latter shaking his head in resignation. To him, Lin Dong seemed like yet another reckless fellow, blinded by the allure of treasures. Upon leaving the intelligence hub, Lin Dong headed straight out of the city, summoning Little Yin without delay and setting off immediately for the Beast Valley mentioned in the intelligence. "Lin Dong, this is going to be more troublesome than going to Demonic Rock City. Both advanced dynasties have first Nirvana Stage experts, and the mighty earth-cracking tiger isn't easy to deal with either. Given that it managed to survive the Nirvana tribulation, its intelligence won't be lacking. Getting the celestial demon tiger bone from them won't be easy," Little Mink commented as it appeared. "Information about the celestial demon tiger is hard to come by. If we miss this chance, who knows when the next opportunity will arise. The 2 advanced dynasties are indeed troublesome, but we're operating from the shadows. They still have to contend with the mighty earth-cracking tiger. If we seize the right moment, it's not impossible to succeed, Lin Dong replied with a smile. He was well aware of the difficulties ahead, but he couldn't afford to give up now that he had finally found a lead on the celestial demon tiger bone. Seeing Lin Dong's determination, Little Mink could only nod. It patted Little Yin, who was flapping its wings furiously, and said, "This dumb tiger has followed you willingly, but I think you'll find that it will be worth it." A beast with a mutated bloodline was extremely rare in the beast world. Who could say whether this seemingly clumsy tiger might not one day become a powerful figure in the beast world, shaking the heavens and earth? "I already feel it's worth it," Lin Dong replied with a faint smile. He then slowly closed his eyes, adjusting his state of mind. As Lin Dong closed his eyes, he didn't notice that Little Yin, flapping its massive wings with effort, had eyes that seemed to flicker with a majestic red hue. Its wings beat even more vigorously. Little Mink glanced at Little Yin and, being as perceptive as it was, sensed a slight ripple in the air. It spread its paws, and with a swift motion, disappeared once again. The location of Beast Valley was some distance from where Lin Dong had set out. However, at Little Yin's high speed, it took roughly 2 hours before Lin Dong noticed the wind around him slowing. He slowly opened his eyes, and a vast, primitive forest appeared before him. This forest stood tall on the ground, exuding a dense aura of age and antiquity. It seemed to have existed for a very long time. So this is the mountain range where Beast Valley is located. Lin Dong's eyes flickered as he was about to instruct Little Yin to descend. Suddenly, a few streaks of red light flew over from the distant sky, transforming into several figures who appeared before him. "Friend, our Demon Tiger Dynasty and Beast Dynasty have sealed off this area. Please take a detour." The 4 individuals who appeared all had formidable auras, each having reached the half-step Nirvana stage. They eyed Lin Dong cautiously and cupped their hands politely. "Oh, sorry for the disturbance." Lin Dong gave a faint smile, didn't say anything more, and patted Little Yin, turning in a different direction. The 4 were momentarily stunned by his straightforwardness and then chuckled, assuming Lin Dong was intimidated by the reputation of their 2 advanced dynasties. They turned back and headed deeper into the mountains. As they turned around, they failed to notice a ghostly figure trailing leisurely behind them. Lin Dong's form flickered through the primeval forest, which was filled with towering ancient trees. The dense canopy cast deep shadows, dimming the sunlight and leaving the forest in a state of perpetual twilight. The 4 figures ahead continued to fly forward, occasionally scattering some kind of powder from their hands. "They're trying to ward off the beasts." Lin Dong sniffed the powder, a hot, spicy scent tingling his nostrils. His brows raised slightly. It made sense now why these people could move through such a place unharmed. They had special means at their disposal. Lin Dong followed them silently for several minutes. Eventually, the dark forest gave way, revealing a vast mountain valley in front of him. On the cliffs surrounding the valley, he could vaguely see several figures. It seemed that the 2 advanced dynasties had already begun their assault on the mighty earth-cracking tiger. With a flash, Lin Dong appeared mysteriously in a hidden spot on the cliffside, from where he looked down into the valley. The valley was quite large, filled with various demonic beasts. However, at this moment, all the beasts were lying down. They didn't appear to have been forcibly slain, but seemed to have been subdued by some kind of anesthetic. Meanwhile, atop the peak, 2 figures descended gracefully. Noticing these 2, Lin Dong's eyes narrowed slightly. Judging by the fluctuations emanating from their bodies, they were likely the 2 first Nirvana Stage experts from the advanced dynasties. "Mighty earth-cracking tiger, come out. We've been preparing for you for quite some time." One of the men spoke with a faint smile as they landed. Following their gaze, Lin Dong looked toward the depths of the valley. There, he saw a massive cave, from which a faint tremor seemed to emanate through the earth. Soon, a towering figure, several meters high and exuding a formidable aura, emerged from the shadow of the cave, walking with a heavy, deliberate stride. The mighty earth-cracking tiger. As he watched the massive figure step out from the cave, Lin Dong exhaled softly, muttering to himself.